Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we would do an all things book related thing. All things, what am I saying? All book things. That's what we're gonna do today. I see these videos all the time and I love them because I love vlog style videos, but also book related videos. And so this is like the perfect in between. And yeah, so we're gonna try it out ourselves. Today I am going to head off right now actually to Staples, and we're going to check out the selection of journals and things like that as we're getting towards the new year. I want to find a new reading journal so that we can, you know, keep track of everything we're reading. Maybe we'll keep track of the book content that we're making, things like that too. And we'll also do a lot of reading today as well. Today is Saturday, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and we're just gonna be having some family time and a lot of like downtime, which is gonna be really nice. So I figured this is the perfect time to get a lot of reading in. I wanna just like get set up for the new year as well. And with that, we're gonna head off to Staples. I think we're gonna start with Staples. There's also an Office Depot near me, I believe. I think we're gonna start with Staples. If I find nothing there, then we'll head off to Office Depot, and then after that we'll just head back home and continue our book. I've been reading The Women by Kristen Hanna and I've been obsessed with it. I think I have like 6 hours left. I'm officially on part 2 and it's been really good. So we're gonna continue reading when we get back, but for now, let's go journal shopping. I'm back from the store. I actually went to, well, I first went to Staples and I didn't really find anything that I loved. And then I decided to head over to Michael's because before I went to Office Depot, there was a Michael's that's like right next to, literally right next to Staples. So I went there and I actually ended up finding this notebook for $7. It was on sale and it says it has 192 pages and it's dotted. I haven't done a bullet journal in a while. I've bought a planner the last few years. And I think this year what I kind of want to do is a mixture of like a bullet journal for my book stuff and then also for like YouTube things to like keep myself on track. And then I also want to do like a digital planner on my iPad. And then I went back over to Staples after that because then once I was inspired by this, I found some mild liners, which I always love mild liners, but I don't have any anymore because I think the last time I bought some was like 5 years ago and they've since run out. So I got this pack and I thought they were really cute. There are 8 of them and I think they're like $15 or so, which feels a little pricey, but I just love mild liners so much, and these colors in particular are just so pretty. They're like natural colors, very earthy toned. I originally wanted to get like a maybe a tan or a brown version of this, but I decided to go for blue just because it was a little something different and I still think that this would look cute together. And while I was at Michael's, I ended up grabbing this 40-ounce tumbler. I actually don't have a Stanley, I have an Owala, which I love, but I've been wanting something that's a little bit bigger for when I'm working at home, and I bought this and I thought it was perfect because it matches the notebook like pretty well actually. So now we have this and it was only $7, so I was like, at least I'm not spending $45 for something to stay at home. Trying really hard to stay more hydrated. But now what I think I'm gonna do, I still really want to read, but I think before I do, I'm going to look up on Pinterest some ideas for book journals or like just bullet journals, book journals in general, so that I can kind of start to think about what I want to do for January. So I'm gonna go grab some like regular ballpoint pens as well. Let's test these out and then we'll start drawing some exciting book journal stuff. Taking a brief pause because I don't know what I want to, I'm trying to like get inspo from Pinterest, but it's not really working. I don't know what I want before I put like January on here. I don't know if I want something for like goals or like 25 and 25, those kinds of spreads. So I don't want to like commit to something and then be sad that I can't add later. But so far I did the cover page, which I think turned out really cute. Here is the 2025 cover page. I kept it just like very basic because I want this to be a little bit more than just a reading journal. I want this to be more of a catch-all, like where I can just like add thoughts or things that I want to do for my videos, things like that too. So I don't want it to just be about books. but I want it to primarily be about books. So that is what I've created so far. I think it turned out really cute. I was trying to like use a picture from Pinterest as inspiration. I really like it. I'm gonna pause on that. I don't know yet what else we're gonna put in here, but for now it's about 11 o'clock. We have plans to go to some family's house at 3, so I think I'm going to chill on the couch for a little bit and read, and then we'll do a workout and get ready, and then that way we'll be ready on time. So let's go do that. I want to go get cozy over there. I'm just gonna gather a few of my things and we'll go over to the couch. Here, but I wanted to tell you guys about the book that I'm reading. So I think I mentioned this at some point in another vlog, but I'm currently reading The Women by Kristen Hanna. I've been reading it mostly physically, but then when I go to bed, I read it on my Kindle. I'm currently on page 307, which is chapter 24, and I'm like maybe 65% of the way through based off of what my Kindle is saying. The pages are a little different between the two different versions, but it has been so good. It's basically surrounding a woman who is a nurse, and she goes to Vietnam to serve as a war nurse, and she ends up serving 2 tours, and it's both a story of her being in Vietnam, but it's also her coming back and her experience coming back and also being a woman in war. It's very different than like being on the front lines or like in combat, I guess I should call it, but she is in Vietnam during half of this book. So it is a very interesting book because Kristen Hanna does a really good job of like staying very true to like the true events and like everything else that happens. Like the girl goes back to San Diego at some point because that's where she's from, and it talks about the building of the Coronado Bridge and things like that too. So all of these little details are all very historically accurate, but just the emotion behind a lot of what's happening for her too is very interesting and very eye-opening. Like some of the things that they talk about I just like had never considered, or as I'm reading the book I can just kind of fact check a few things just to like better understand how it actually happened, and it's been a really fun experience. I think I'm reading it a little bit slower because I'm trying to understand everything and like better understand different organizations or different historical facts and things like that too, but it's been a really fun time because of that. So this book honestly made me cry like 3 chapters in, so I feel like Kristen Hanna is really good at doing that. I remember that happening with The Nightingale as well, so I really love this one so far. I think I have like 5 hours left to read if I were to want to finish it this weekend. I'm gonna probably try to finish it between today and tomorrow. I'm gonna continue reading and just read as much as I possibly can. I've been really loving it, and I can't wait to tell you guys how it ends up. Yeah, I highly recommend this book, and honestly so far every Kristen Hanna that I've read has been a hit. So if you guys have not checked out Kristen Hanna's books, I highly recommend them. They definitely make you think a little bit more. I haven't read like Firefly Lane, for example. I've only read her historical fiction, but her historical fiction has been amazing. I love it. It's a lot later now. We went off to spend some time with family, and now we're back home, and I wanted to quickly show you guys a few more spreads that I made. I was just kind of in like a, I don't know, chilling on the couch type of mood, and I found a site that talks about some more spreads for your book journal. So I did a few of those just to show you. Like I showed you guys earlier, we have the 2025 little book spread. I'm obsessed with this. I feel like I can't normally draw, so this I felt like pretty proud of. I don't love this one, but besides that, I like all the others. I wrote some things in pencil because I want to basically like put that in another time a little bit nicer, but for now I just want like the themes to be put in, and then that way I can eventually get in there and do the calendar pieces, if that makes sense. So for example, I have 2024 reading statistics as well as 25 and 2025. So I'll put all of my reading stats from this year. I wrote down a few that I was interested in, like the amount of books I read, genres, what percentage of Kindle versus hard copy, how many pages total I read, audiobooks versus regular books that I'm like reading physically, so on and so forth. So I'll put all of that in, but I need to obviously finish this year of reading first. And then 25 and 25, I don't know what I want to read yet, basically. So I kind of need to like think about this, but I did write all of the books that I want to read in 2025. So I did that. I put little like vines on this one. Can you guys see that? I put little vines on this one, but I don't really love that. So I just kind of kept this one, I don't know, regular. Maybe I'll add things later. And then this one I totally messed up on. So I literally wrote down, put a paper over this and rewrite it. But I'm gonna do a reading goal tracker. So basically every single month I'll have like a different color, and then I will color off that month. Like if I read 5 books, then I'll color the first 5 boxes in pink or whatever color I choose, and then so on and so forth, so that I can see, you know, how many books I end up reading in a year. But that's that one. The writing looks terrible, so I need to rewrite that one. And then I did this one, 2025 favorites. So every single month I will put in what book was my favorite, but obviously they're just blank boxes for now. And then the last one I did here was brain dump. I'm gonna cover what I wrote, but it's very, very plain. I put it across 2 pages, like a full spread, because I wanted this to truly be a place where I can just like think about like, ooh, that video would be kind of cool, or like I saw this video somewhere and I want to try to recreate it. And so I had a few ideas already, so I wrote them down. So that's what I've come up with. I think now I'm going to get cozy here on the couch and I'm going to continue reading. I truly like feel like every time I have to step away from this book, I can only think about the book, and I want to tell everybody about it, and I want to just like talk about Vietnam War right now, because I've just been reading this book, which is crazy, but that's sort of where this book has transported me to. Morning, you guys. Happy Sunday. Today we are going to do a few more bookish things, and I'm really excited because I don't often buy like hardcovers or like paperbacks or whatever, like physical books. I usually just read on my Kindle. I actually just got a new, let me show you guys, because I have the like clicker and that whole situation. I used to use a pop socket on my Kindle and it was obviously getting in the way. You can remove this like top piece without damaging it, but it was just kind of still clunky, and I couldn't like put my Kindle on the table because it would obviously be brazed by the pop socket. So anyway, I ended up getting a MagSafe pop socket, and it comes with a little magnetic ring that you can put on your Kindle case, which is really nice because now I can just like lay it flat when I'm at the table. I love having the pop socket, honestly. It just helps me be able to hold it a little bit better, but I usually read on my Kindle, so I don't go to the bookstore very often, and I thought today we could go over to a bookstore. I wanted to try going to, there's a couple of Barnes & Nobles by me, but I've been to both of them and neither of them have seats. So I was thinking maybe we go to one that's a little bit further and see if there's like seating and also just like a different layout, something that we haven't seen before. And on top of that, maybe we could also, there's a Goodwill near me, but the Goodwill is basically a bookstore Goodwill. So it's like strictly books. And I thought maybe we could check out that Goodwill too, because the little free libraries by my house always have the top books that I'm wanting to read. Like I got Tomorrow from there. I got, what was the book called? 23 Summers or 20, I forget, the Ellen Hilderbrand book. The 20 something summers, that was in a little free library as well. So there's been quite a few books, and so if that is what people are reading nearby me, maybe there will be some books at the Goodwill. So I thought maybe we can do a little bit of that, but first and foremost I want to read as much as I possibly can of this book. I have about this much left, which is probably going to equate to like 3 hours for me because I'm a slower reader, but I'm so excited. Last night I had a feeling that someone was still alive, and someone was still alive, but it's not the person that I thought it was going to be. So now I am like extra intrigued, and I'm still holding out hope, but to have 2 people come back from the dead in one book would be a lot. So I don't think that hope is warranted, but I will still hold out hope. So we'll see. I'm gonna continue reading. I've been like so far obsessed with this book. I think this is like a clear 5-star for me. At the beginning of the book, it took me a little bit of time just to like get to understand the lingo that they were using, because they use a lot of like random military jargon, and as someone who has not been in the military, I have friends and family who have been in the military, but I don't know all the jargon that they use, so I had to like look a few things up, and now that I have all of that, I've been flying through the rest of it. Okay, we've made it into the car. I did not finish my book after all, not yet. I was really like antsy to get ready, so we just got ready, and now we're gonna head off to Barnes & Noble. I am actually going to go to the one that is, there's one that's closer to my house, but I'm gonna go to one that is a little further away, only because the one that's closest to me is in a mall, and I just don't feel like going to the mall this weekend because shopping weekend. Basically, I did a bunch of research and all of them just like don't have seating or anything like that. So originally I wanted to go to a different one to see if maybe they had seating, but I don't think any of them do. So we're gonna go to a different one and still like decently close to the house. So I might also stop by Target if I'm feeling it, only because there is one in that direction. And if I feel like it, we need like a couple of basics like paper towels and toilet paper and stuff like that. So we'll see. But for now, we're just gonna head over to Barnes & Noble. I also brought some headphones and my Kindle so that if we felt like it, we could like stop by a cafe. Like basically I came prepared in case we wanted to like stop anywhere and read for a little bit. But let's see what we get up to. First and foremost, let's just go to Barnes & Noble and look around. We're back home. I actually picked up In-N-Out on the way home for Ryan and I because it was right next to Barnes & Noble, and now we're actually gonna head out to IKEA. But before I do, I wanted to tell you guys about the different books that I saw that I was intrigued by. First of all, there was a whole Kristen Hanna section, which is the author of the book that I'm currently reading, and so I was just like fangirling a little bit because I just love her books and I think I want to read another one of hers soon. She makes me really love historical fiction, so there was that. But the other books that I saw were, I didn't know that Wicked was a book, so I thought that was interesting. I looked it up while I was there and I learned that it's more political than the actual musical, but I've never seen the musical and I am gonna go see it, I think in January, so I might prioritize reading that one. I also saw The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and I feel like 2025 is going to be the year that I read that because it has been on my list for a while now, and every time I pick it up, I'm like, I want to read this so bad. I love dark academia type books, and so I feel like I would really like it because I'm pretty sure this is like one of the first dark academia books. I have heard that the writing is a little difficult to read, but I think I would still really enjoy it. And then the other ones I saw were Sherlock Holmes. I feel like if I really like mysteries and things like that, Sherlock Holmes would be perfect, but I decided against picking it up, even though I would love to one day have all of the classics, or all of the classics that I've read, I should say. I feel like that's gonna be like a cheap one on the Kindle. And then the other one that I saw was The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. I've never heard of the author or this book, but it got really amazing reviews and it's all about the Underground Railroad. So another historical fiction book, and I thought that one would be interesting. So I wrote them down because I was intrigued by them, but I did not get anything. And then I went over to In-N-Out and now I came back home. We're gonna step out to go over to IKEA, and when we get back, I think I'm going to focus in on finishing my book. Chapter 34, which means I have literally 2 chapters left. There's only 35 chapters in this book. I'm on page 430, which means I have roughly 30 to 35 pages left of the book, and I think that should take me just under an hour to read, but I don't have my Kindle to like help with deducing whether or not that's true, but based off of like my average reading speed, I think that's true. This book has been getting more and more intense by the second, and I just like need to know what happens and how everything ends up. But the downside to reading a book like this, where you're following a character's life from like 1 year all the way like down 10 years later, I don't even know how many years, but you know, roughly that time frame, there's no end until the person dies, and unless she dies at the end, which I doubt, like there's always going to be pieces that we won't see, and these types of books are what make me feel like they're my friends or like they're people that I know, and I'm going to miss my main character. I think today I have been sort of putting off reading more of this book, and I think that's mostly because I know I'm gonna miss Frankie McGrath so much, and I love her and I want her to be okay. I am excited to like read more, but I just know I'm gonna miss her. So anyway, I'm gonna continue reading. I can't even imagine like how this is going to wrap up, but I just hope that she's doing better. I don't know, I'm already sad thinking about the end. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna get back to it. Let's finish up this book and see how it all ends. Oh my god, you guys. I'm near tears. First of all, I just finished the book. Ugh. I literally screamed out loud. I want to know how everything turns out for our main character, but I can't know that because the book is over, and I already miss it and already miss this world and Frankie in general. I love her. I think something about this book that was very interesting was that our main character grew up in San Diego and lives in San Diego for a good majority of this book. And as someone who also is from San Diego, I feel like I learned a lot about San Diego as a whole, as well as like the war. So that was very interesting. But oh my God, wow. The ending was like, oh my God. I want another chapter at least. Like I want a whole nother book, but I want another chapter. I want another page. Like we can only assume what happens from here, but my God, I have to give this 5 stars. It was truly amazing. I really don't know, like I'm supposed to read my book club book after this, and that's just like a cheesy Christmas romance, and I really don't know how I'm supposed to follow this up with that. So I might need to give myself the night. Overall, I just loved spending time with you guys, doing all of the book things that we can do, going to the bookstore, reading this amazing 5-star book, and also setting up a book journal, which I'm really excited to tackle in 2025. I think that's going to be so fun. So thank you guys for joining me along this journey of all things book related, all things, what am I trying to say? I don't know how to formulate that sentence. All things book things, all of the book things that we could possibly be doing. It was really, really fun, honestly. So thank you again. I think I need to digest after that. So I appreciate you guys so, so much. And I think that's gonna be it for this video. If there's anything that you guys would like to see, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And I think I mentioned this earlier in this video, but if you do wanna see a 24-hour reading challenge, would you prefer to see like a from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. the next day? I almost said 8 p.m. 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. Or do you prefer timed, like over the course of 2 days, read for 24 timed hours? Let me know in the comments. That's all for today's video. So thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.